Much like extruded thin features can be created from open profiles, you can also create revolve thin features from an open profile. And we'll be doing that to create a plastic bottle. We'll start with a sketch on the front plane. And first we'll use the centerline tool and draw in a line vertically from the origin. And then we'll give that a dimension of 3 3/4 inches. From there, we'll start drawing in the profile using the line tool. And we're going to draw in a horizontal line slightly above the origin. And then draw down an angled line. It's also horizontal with the origin. And then we'll sketch out another horizontal line here. From there, I'm going to draw a line up. Then press A to create a tangent arc and add in one tangent arc. And then I'll press A once again to add in yet another tangent arc. And then from there, I'll draw up a vertical line. Now, depending on how you added in the tangent arcs and the vertical line, you may need to add a tangent relation between the two arcs there. So go ahead and add those in if necessary. And then from here, we can start adding in dimensions. So this outside line segment is going to have a height of 2 3/4 inches. The bottom line here is going to have a length of 1/2 inch.
And the top line will have a dimension of 3/8 of an inch.
And this indent here is going to have a height of 50 thousandths of an inch. And then we'll give this profile for the bottle a diameter by clicking on the outside line and clicking on the center line. And just dragging the mouse out to the outside of the center line. And we'll set that to 2 inches. Next, I want to make the top point of our profile and the top point of the center line there horizontal. And then I want to add in dimensions to our two arcs. This is going to be 0.15 inches. And the other arc is going to be equal in curvature. So we'll go ahead and make these two equal. Next, we'll dimension the top of the profile off from the center line and set a dimension of 0.675 inches.
And lastly, we want to create fillets at the bottom at the 3 corner points that we have on the sketch.
I'll set the fillet parameters to 0.15 inches and choose those 3 corners. And then click OK. From here we can exit the sketch and go into the Features tab and choose the Revolve Boss Base option. And we get this error message asking if we want to close the sketch. In this case we want to choose no. And it'll automatically choose that thin feature option. If it hasn't already chosen that center line as the axis of revolution, you can go ahead and select that. And we're going to leave this at a thickness of 0.1 inches. Now that we have a profile for the bottle, we're going to create a thread for the cap. And we'll do that by choosing this top face, going to Reference Geometry, and selecting Plane. From there, I want to set this as 0.1 inches from that face. And I'm going to go ahead and flip that so it goes into the part and click OK. From here, we'll create a sketch on that plane. And selecting the top edge, we'll go to Convert Entities and convert over that edge. Next, I want to come back into the Features tab and choose Helix and Spiral from the Curves pull-down. And we're going to define a helix by height and revolution. We're going to choose a height of 0.15 inches. Choose 1 1/4 revolutions. A start angle of 0, and we'll set this to clockwise. And click OK. We'll be creating the thread for the bottle by using a sweep feature. So next we need a profile for the sweep. Before we do that, I'll go ahead and click on the plane and hide out that plane, making it a little bit easier to see. Then we'll create a sketch on the right plane. I'll go ahead and just draw in a trapezoid here. We're going to make the two opposing sides equal. Then I'm going to put a point at the midpoint of the back here. And that point's going to allow us to create a Pierce relation with this helix. So we want to select the helix. You want to make sure you're not selecting the point at the end of the helix though, because that contains no actual data there. So we select the helix and the point and choose a Pierce relation. Then we can add in dimensions. This is going to have a length of 0.07. This will have a width of 0.025. And this line will have a length of 0.022. Lastly, I want to add some fillets to these two front corners. We'll set the fillet parameters to 0.01 and choose both of those fillets, and you can go ahead and press yes to that error message. And from there we can go ahead and exit the sketch. Now we'll go into the Features tab, choose Swept Boss Base. In the first box it's asking for the profile, so we'll go ahead and choose out that sketch. In the next box we want to choose the helix. Preview looks good, so we'll go ahead and press OK. Now we want to close off the ends of the thread, and we'll do that with two revolved features. And the first will be created on this end. We'll go ahead and select that face and create a sketch. Choose the Convert Entities, and it'll convert the outside profile of that face. Click OK. And then we can go into the Features tab and choose the revolved feature. For the axis of revolution, I'm going to go ahead and choose that inside line. And for the angle, we're going to make this 100 degrees. And we'll just go ahead and do the same on the other side. Once again, create a sketch, convert entities, and create another revolve. Lastly, we need to create one more extrusion for the stop for the cap that would go on top of this. So the first thing we'll need is a sketch plane, and we're going to create it again from this top face. Go to the reference geometry pull down and choose plane. Once again, I'll flip the direction. I want to set this to 0.4 and click OK. From here I'll draw out a sketch. And once again we just want to convert over that top edge. And we'll go back and choose the extruded boss base option. In this case, I want to create a thin feature on the outside there. If yours is facing the wrong direction, you can flip it by pressing this button. We'll set this to a depth of 0.05 inches. And a thickness of 0.05 inches as well. And I just want to go ahead and flip the direction of this feature. And click OK. And lastly, I can go ahead and hide out that plane. If we wanted to add an appearance to this, we could as well. And going into the Appearance tab on the right here, going into the Appearances, we'll choose Plastic, and we'll go ahead and just choose a medium gloss plastic and drop in the white medium gloss. If I drop this into the workspace instead of a feature or the face, it'll apply that feature, it'll apply that appearance to the entire part. So there we have our bottle.